Hi, welcome back to this class. This is matrices and determinants, and in this case, we are going to use the matrices method to solve this unknown is x, y, and z. We are going to find x, y, and z in this video. And my previous video, we have used determinant method or Cramer's rule to find the same variables. And this one, we are going to use the matrices method. Sometimes they call this matrix method, they call it as inverse method. It's still the same thing, inverse method. So what you are going to do is that you have to find the determinant of these matrices. Then after that, you find the cofactor. After the cofactor, you find the adjunct. After the adjunct, we find the inverse. And from the inverse, we'll be able to find the value of s, y, and z. These are the methods we are going to do. I'll repeat it again so that you take note of that. If you get the steps, you know the steps, you will be able to solve any question that related to this. First of all, you have to find the determinant of this. Then after that, you find the cofactor. After the cofactor, you find the adjunct. After the adjunct, you find the inverse. From the inverse, you get the s, y, and z. Now let's first of all transform this equation into a matrices form. So we are going to look at the coefficient of each variables here. And the coefficient of s here is 1. The coefficient of y here is 1. Coefficient of z here is 1. Coefficient of s here is 1. Coefficient of y here is 1, but it's carrying negative sign. It is minus 2. Coefficient of z here is 1. Coefficient of s here is 2. Coefficient of y here is 3. Because I'm not going to put any sign. Coefficient of z here is 1. This is matrices form of this. And what are we looking for? We're looking for s, y, and z. Have to multiply by that s, y, and z. Is equals to the answer, which says 2 and 11. So this is matrices form of this. I've transformed it to matrices form. The next thing is that I have to find the determinant of this, only this one first. And how can you find the determinant? It's plus, you produce plus, minus, plus. Which is determinant is equal to, remember, if you want to find the determinant, I'll take this on 1, then square bracket, clear the columns and rows. We have minus 1, 1, 3, and 1. So, then the next one is minus 1, then clear the columns and rows. We have 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. Then the last one is plus 1. Then clear the columns and we have 1, minus 1, 2, 3. 1, minus 1, 2, 3. So now, the next thing is find the determinant. The determinant is equal to 1, open bracket. 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. Always minus. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 2 times 1 is 2. So plus 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 2 times minus 1 is now minus 3, which change to what? Plus 2 times 1 is 2. So we have determinant is equal to 1, open bracket, minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4. Minus 1, open bracket, 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Plus 1, 3 plus 2 is 5. So we now have the determinants. That is equal to 1 times minus 4 is minus 4. Minus times minus is plus. 1 times 1 is 1, plus 1 times 5 is now 5. We have that is equal to minus 4 plus 1 is minus what? 3. Minus 3 plus 5, we have 2. Which means the determinant is what? 2. But we have to find the cofactors. And how can we find this cofactor? We are going to use this convention, which is plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus. And the cofactor C is equals to C11. So cofactor is C11, C12, then C13, C21, C22, C23, C31, C32, then C33. We are going to look at find all these C11, C12, C13, C all. We have C11 now. How can we find C11? We come back here. The only difference between the cofactor and determinant is that we are not going to use this coefficient in cofactor, but we are going to use this convention for the cofactor. So for C11, the equation of C11 is this. That is plus. I will cancel the columns and rows. I have 1 times minus 1. 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. So minus 1. 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. Then minus again. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4. This is what we have for C1. Then C1, the sign is minus. When it is minus, you have to indicate that minus. Minus, open brackets. Then you come back to the position of C12. Cancel the columns and rows. 1 times 1 is 1. Then minus. Then I cancel the rows, the columns and rows. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is now 2. Then we have C12 is equal to minus, open bracket. 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So minus cancel minus, we have a 1, which means C12 is now 1. Then C13, the position of C13, the conventional sign is what? Plus. You don't need to indicate it. Then you cancel the columns and rows. We have 1 minus 1, 2, and 3. 3 times 1 is 3 minus 2 times minus 1 is minus 2. It will change to now to what? Plus 2. 3 plus 2 is now 5. Now get C11, C12, C13. Let's go to C21. C21. The conventional sign for C21 is minus. You have to indicate that. Very important. Then we now come back here. This is the position here. Cancel the columns and the rows and columns. We have 1, 1, 3, 1. 1, 1, 3, 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 3 times 1 is 3. We have C21 is equal to minus the 2 bracket. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. Is equal to minus cancel minus we have 2. That is C21. Then C22. The position of C22 is this, and conventional sign is plus. We don't need to use it. So we now just come here, cancel the rows and the column. We have 1, 1, 2, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 2 times 1 is 2. 1 minus 2 is minus 1. That's C22. C23, the conventional sign for C23 is minus. We have to indicate that minus. Open bracket. Then we now come back here, cancel the columns and the row. We have 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 2 times 1 is 2. So equals to minus 3 minus 2 is 1, which is minus 1. Then we move to C31. This is C31. This is position. Conventional sign is plus. We don't need to indicate it. You cancel the columns and rows. We have 1, 1, minus 1, 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1 minus 1 times minus 1 change to plus 1. 1 plus 1 is now 2. Then C32, the conventional sign is minus. We have to indicate it minus, open bracket. Then you come back here, cancel the columns and rows. Have 1, 1, 1, 1. 1 times 1 is 1 minus 1 times 1 is equal to 1. The C32 is equal to minus 1 minus 1 is 0. And let's see multiplied by 0 is still what? 0. Then C33 is equal to, the conventional sign is plus. We don't need to use it. We now come back here, cancel the columns and rows. We have 1, 1, 1 minus 1. Minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 times 1 is 1. The C33 is equal to minus 1 minus 1 is minus 2. So from here, we can be able to find our multiple factor. Our cofactor is now what? C11. C11 is what? C11 is minus 4. C12 is 1. C13 is 5. C21 is 2. C22 is minus 1. C23 is minus 1. C31 is 2. C32 is 0. C33 is minus 2. This is the cofactor of these matrices. The cofactor is now this. And how can we find? I told you that the procedure is that you have to find the determinant. After the determinant, you find the cofactor. After the cofactor, you find the what? Adjoint. After the adjoint, you find the inverse. From the inverse, you get your what? No. So we are going to find the adjoint now. And how can you find the adjoint? You have to transpose this cofactor. Transpose. What is transpose? Transpose is the changing of rows to column. Changing of rows to column. So now the adjoint now. Adjoint is equal to cofactor transpose. I'll transpose this cofactor now. This is the first row. I'll change it to code. I'll change it like this, which is -4, 1, and 5. Then the next one is this 2, -1, and -1. Then the last one is this 2, 0, and -2. This is the adjoint. This is the adjoint of the matrix. Now you have what? Cover 3 steps now. We have find the determinant, we have find the cofactor, we have find the adjoint. The next thing now is to find the inverse of these matrices. Inverse now, I can call it like this. Inverse is equal to adjoint all over depth, determinants. And remember that our determinant is 2 before. Our determinant is 2 before. So what we are going to do is that this our adjoint is this, which is this. So what we are going to do is that the determinant is 2. If now say 1 all over that determinant 2, open bracket, then the adjoint is this. That is 4 -4, 2, 2, 1 -1, 0, then 5 -1 and -2. This is my inverse. And how can you find your S, Y, and Z? It's very easy now. This is the final step. What you're going to do is that you are actually looking for S, Y, and Z. It's going to be equal to inverse multiplied by answer. Inverse multiplied by answer. We now have X, Y, and Z. It's equal to what is my inverse? This is my inverse. 1 all over 2, open bracket, -4, 1 and 5, 2, -1, -1, 2, 0, -2, multiply by the answer given from the question. And the answer is 6. The answer is the answer is 6, 2, and 11. This is what we are going to have. If you multiply this, we should be able to find X, Y, and Z. So, moving forward, what we are going to do is that for S column, this is the S column, this is Y column, this is Z column. This is S row, this is Y row, this is for 0. If I multiply this S row multiplied by this answer, we are going to have S. If I multiply this Y rows multiplied by the answer, we are going to have Y. If I multiply this one multiplied by Z, the answer we are going to have Z. What I mean is this X now is equal to -4 times 6. That is -24. -24 plus 2 times 2, 4. 2 times 11, 22. All over this 2. And multiply this by this, then divided by 2. All over 2. We have S equal to -24 plus 4 plus 22, we have 26. All over 2. -24 plus 26, we are going to have 2 all over 2, which is equal to 1. Which means X equals to 1. Then how can we get our Y? It's the same procedure. We are going to multiply these rows, multiply by the answer. 1 times 6, we have 6. -1 times 2, we have -2. 0 times 11 is plus 0. All over the same 2 again, divided by 2. Y is equal to 6 minus 2, we have 4. 4 plus 0, we have 4 over 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. That is the value of Y. And how can we find Z? We are going to multiply this by the answer again. 5 times 6, that is Z. 5 times 6 is 30. -1 times 2 is -2. -2 times 0 -22. All over the same 2 again, divided by 2. Z is equal to 30. -2 -22 is -24. All over 2. And 30 minus 24, we have 6 over 2. And 6 divided by 2, we have 3. The value of z is now 3. Now say therefore, s equals to 1, y is equals to 2, and z is equals to 3 respectively. Please do well to subscribe to this channel, share and comment. Thank you.